Thanks for being with us on today's edition of Connecticut Newsmakers as lawmakers over the state capitol continue to grind it out and try and find a solution to Connecticut's budget problems for the current fiscal year and also for the next 2 fiscal years. Our guests on the program today, in my immediate right, is Deputy House Leader on the Republican side, Bill Hamzy, and on my far right, the President Pro Tem of the State Senate, Democrat Donald Williams. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us.
Good to see you, Tom.
Clarify this for us. Start with you, Senator, in terms of we have a deficit for the current fiscal year, which is what, about $1.5 billion, somewhere around there? Is that
when you subtract the stimulus dollars, it's about $900 million or thereabouts.
Short of $1 billion. And then, of course, we have to work on that deficit for the next 2 fiscal years after that. So what are we working at the present time? The current one?
We're taking a look at all 3, and my feeling is that we're going to need to wrap this up, not only focusing just on the next couple of months for 2009 and that fiscal year that ends on July 1st, but the biennial budget as well. And we have a plan out there that takes care of the biennial budget and the current fiscal year. The Republicans have put out a plan, the Republicans in the legislature, that also addresses all 3. So I think we're all kind of on the same page saying we got to take care of all of the budget years, the biennial budget and the current fiscal year.
But how to go about doing that, Representative Hamzy, is the big sticking point, and I would assume cuts in taxes are still being worked out.
Well, I think it's almost impossible to separate this current fiscal year from the next 2 fiscal years because they're dependent on each other, and that's, one of the reasons why we started beating this drum a year ago, saying, there's a projected deficit that's going to occur in this current fiscal year, which ends June 30th, that we need to address. Now, having said that, obviously the task before us, which we have less than 4 weeks left in this session, is to take care of the issues that, the budget issues that exist.
Where are we on that, though? I mean, are we far apart when we talk cuts, spending cuts, we talk about tax increases, all these things are out there?
Well, as Senator Williams mentioned, there are budget negotiations that are ongoing, but the information that I have, or the feedback that I have, is that there's really been no substantive agreement on, a plan to take care of the, budget problems that exist. One of the things that concerns me is, cities and towns all across the state, whether they're led by Republicans or Democrats, have already, approved, for the most part, their budgets. And they're operating under the same guidelines that we're operating. And the fact that they're able to live up to their responsibilities and that we have not yet done that's the biggest concern I think that I have.
Senator, how about, Democrats have been saying that, look, you can't really solve this problem without some kind of a tax increase. And you've put forth a plan that does raise taxes and also fees. And at the same time, we can't just cut our way out of this either. So just to follow up on Representative Hamzy, are we miles apart on those 2 areas?
Well, actually, the legislature has been hard at work at this. Last fall, when we knew that this economic storm and hurricane was coming, we got down to work. We worked with our Senate caucus. Our financial committees that put together the budget started their work early. They completed their work early, producing a budget package more than 3 weeks ahead of schedule. And the reason we did that was we knew we would need extra time to negotiate with the governor excuse me, in this budget session with the enormous challenge that we're facing. So there's no reason why we can't complete this work. We as a Democratic legislature have put our proposal on the table. We have a balanced budget there. We've asked the governor to do the same, to provide a balanced budget everyone can review. And it's going to take cuts. I mean, our budget has deep cuts. And actually, we've cut more than the governor has proposed cutting so far. So we're asking folks, look, everybody understands there has to be sacrifice this year. We have to tighten the belt, find efficiencies in state government, just like families are doing, like businesses are doing. But everybody needs to put a balanced budget proposal on the table. Our offer is there. If folks don't agree with all the details, that's fair. That's part of the democratic process. But give us your proposal. Put your ideas to balance the budget on the table. Now, in these budget negotiations, that's what's going on. And I'm encouraged because this week, Governor Rell said she would be putting more budget cuts and proposals on the table for folks to review. And hopefully that will move the process forward.
You know, excuse me, the last we heard was that in both the House and the Senate, you could basically run this and get it through, the Democratic package, and even override, except for 2 senators in the Senate who would go against that. So do you have problems in that regard?
You know, I don't think this is the year when you say we want to ignore the governor and we want to just do it, you know, our way or no way. We have worked with the governor right from the outset. You know, we've been in touch with her starting last fall, working through this session, because we think that what the people of Connecticut want, you know, is not just one party dictating a solution, but coming together, the legislature working cooperatively with the governor. We're ready to do that. That's why the negotiations with the governor's representatives are going on, and I believe we have plenty of time to reach agreement if all parties put balanced budget proposals on the table.
Representative Hamzy, in terms of the taxes, the governor has indicated that she could pass a budget. The dollars are there that would not necessitate an increase in taxes. Do you buy that?
Well, the budget proposal that we released does not increase taxes.
Either, right?
No, it does not. And here's what concerns me and concerns other members of our caucus. You got to remember, these next 2 fiscal years are very difficult. But we have $3 billion in federal stimulus money. We have $1.4 billion in our rainy day fund. 3 years from now, in fiscal year 12 and 13, those things are not going to be there. So if we raise taxes now, we're going to be in a position where we're going to have to raise taxes again in fiscal year 12 and fiscal year 13. So I don't think that we should get through this budget session with raising taxes right now. There is a way to get out of this without raising taxes. It's going to require some deep spending cuts. Everyone acknowledges that, but it is possible, and we have a blueprint out there to show how we can achieve that.
But, you know, and I don't disagree with Bill in terms of what the goal is here and how we don't want to, nobody wants to have cuts in critical programs that are going to hurt our communities or tax increases that are unnecessary. But the problem here is that our budget is the only budget that's balanced that's on the table. Now, it's fair enough if they would like to have a budget that either doesn't cut this or that doesn't raise this particular tax. Same thing for the governor. But neither the Republican legislators nor the governor have put on the table the cuts necessary to balance the budget. So if they want to go that route, I would say fine, but be straight with the people of Connecticut. Put your proposal on the table so people can see it. Make those cuts that are necessary. Propose those cuts that are necessary to balance the budget and be transparent. Be honest with the people of Connecticut.
So, final point, Mr. Hamzy, have you done that?
Yes, we have done that. We have a plan that's been reviewed by the Office of Fiscal Analysis, which is our nonpartisan budget office. It's out there. We will work on language and are continuing to work on language to implement that plan, just like a regular budget document does in the regular session. And we are fully prepared to do that, and that's why we released the plan that we released.
It's $700 million short on its face, and another almost $600 million is made up with unspecified sale of state assets like parks and airports and things that they know we're not going to do. So it's over $1 billion out of balance. And the governor is $3 billion out of balance.
10 seconds.
I mean, the Democrats' plan is not pure as snow either. I mean, there are a lot of holes in their plan as well. But that's what this process consists of. As Don said earlier, we're going to be full participants in it to get the best budget deal that we can get.
All right, guys,
without raising taxes.
You bet. Representative Bill Hamzy, Senator Donald Williams, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Tom.